In today's episode of Manabonded, Josh reads a question from Rocky the Iridian. Scoop to deny triggers question opinions. Zack attempts to explain why he plays Commander.
There are 8 million game modes in Magic, and this is one of them.
And Nate brags about cutting all his lands from his deck so he won't draw too many.
I'm not going to do anything else for the rest of the game, but hey, there we go.
Hello everyone and welcome to Manabonded, the only Magic the Gathering podcast to still have no clue what ocean Artemis 2 landed in. I'm Josh, your host, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Nate and Zack. Say hey, guys.
I like space.
Dude, Artemis 2 brought hope back into humanity for me for a little bit, and I needed that in my life.
I am not going to lie, guys. I have been on a dive trying to find good high-resolution images to download to my phone for some new phone wallpapers. Because I just love space photos.
The moon?
Yeah.
Whew, those pictures.
It's pretty neat.
All the colors and all the stuff for the moon. I'm just like, oh man.
Space is neat. More at 10.
Space is crazy. When you think about it, like,
it's terrifying.
How tiny we are and how little significance of the universe we have.
Oh man.
Crazy.
I saw some incredible sort of graphics that showed how the actual trajectory goes. Not that it's, Earth is stationary, moon is stationary. We shoot the ship, it goes up past the moon, comes back. It wasn't like that. We shot the ship, it circled Earth a couple times to build up speed, then flew out, and the moon wasn't even where it was headed. It was headed out just randomly, and then the moon caught up to its trajectory, and then it circled the moon and came back down. We were, shooting for where the moon will be, to circle it there with such precision that we could get some really cool close-up flyby shots and then also swing all the way back home and land where Earth will be when we get back.
That is one of the craziest things about space travel is the fact that we don't aim for the planets where they are. We're aiming for where they're going to end up being when the thing goes by.
We have to know where the planet or giant space body is going to be so that we can aim for that instead of aiming for where it is. Because if you aim for the moon right now, you're going to miss. Because the moon will have shifted by the time you get there. But if you aim ahead, because you know where the moon's going to be, because the moon is very predictable, if you aim ahead of it, you can get there. Turns out, just rocket science is as complicated as everyone said it was going to be.
This is the kind of math that Quandrix college students have wet dreams about.
Yeah.
Have wet dreams about.
This is beyond Quandrix PhD levels. This is because they just do their cool fractal math, and it's like, ooh, look at these fun patterns we can build. Meanwhile, NASA, back in the 1970s, was like, let me do the calculations by hand on how we're going to get to the moon.
Yeah. Dude, space? Fantastic.
Oh,
and then if we need to fix something, we're going to do the calculations by hand and then relate it over radio with a delay to the astronauts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. Can you imagine,
so crazy.
Being in the Artemis and, man, if one person messed up, I'm just going to fly through space and, that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
Air.
Man, I sure hope gravity works the way we expect it to with the moon.
It's one of the things.
Crazy.
I love my wife, but she does not like space movies because spacewalk scenes and scenes where you're being threatening to being thrown out in space, she hates those. It really stresses her out, the idea of just floating in an infinite nothingness forever, basically.
It's just infinite.
It is a freaky concept.
Yeah, it is terrifying. Me, however, I would just love to go up just for a little bit and just see all of the Earth at once. Zero gravity, yes, but I also just want to see the Earth from space.
It's such a surreal experience.
There's a term
looking
for
back
it.
At
hang on,
everything's so much bigger than yourself.
Right. Gets you that.
Even
you're so small.
Even when I'm in an airplane or something, and I'm just looking down, I'm like, man. Every of those little cars is someone living a life, living their life, doing their things, trying to live the way they want to live, and I'm like, it's crazy to think about, you know?
Okay, I found it.
That reminds me of another thing.
Go ahead.
I'll look it up while Josh explains his.
Okay, yeah. So I wanted to look it up, but it's called the overview effect. Straight from Wikipedia here. It's a cognitive shift reported by some astronauts while viewing the Earth from space. Researchers characterize the effect as, quote, a state of awe with self-transcendent qualities precipitated by a particularly striking visual stimulus. Basically saying, seeing the Earth from space fundamentally changes your brain and your perspective on life. It genuinely just shifts how you think about everything. Seeing the Earth and seeing everything of human history encapsulated right there and realizing that's it. That's everything.
Yeah.
It's so
That's
wild to me.
All I know is right there.
All I know, all
Everything
I will ever know
ever
is right there.
experienced.
Oh,
And I'm not there. I'm away from it. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy to think about. Like,
it's so cool, man.
It's absolutely crazy.
dude, I can
yeah.
gush about space all the time.
Same.
Well, my concept that is actually kind of similar to that, and I feel like has a similar mind-opening thing is when you sonder. And sondering is just realizing that every random person that you pass, every person around you
Yes.
has a life that's as vivid and as complex as your own.
Yes.
And like
And
they're
that's-
in their head the same way you are in your head. Like,
It's
Yeah.
that feeling of walking past somebody in Walmart, just, grabbing lettuce or whatever, and you think to yourself, I wonder if they still remember their first grade teacher, or
or
what
even
was
just
their
like, I'm a
favorite
stranger
book?
to them.
Yeah.
Like, what was their favorite road trip they ever took? Did they have a particularly, painful memory from a parent? Or do they have siblings? Like, what is their life like? And just realizing that everybody has so much depth to them.
Well, one of my favorite things going along with that is the realization that if everybody is as complex as I am, and if we all think kind of similar as people, like, sure, there's going to be a bell curve of how much we think about different things. But on average, if we're thinking similar things, you just realize that if you're worried about people looking at you and judging you, sure, they might do that, but they're not going to remember it 5 minutes from now.
Nope.
Unless you really stand out. And so that's a pretty freeing thought of like, hey, people might see me, people might think it's odd, but they're not actually going to really worry about it for most of the things you do.
Yeah.
I feel that. As someone with anxiety, that definitely has helped me quite a bit of
Yeah.
thinking how many times in my life that I've experienced just seeing someone like have an embarrassing moment. Do I actually remember that later? Like, how much does that actually matter in my own head? And then I think back to it, like, realistically, not at all. Like, unless it was like an extreme thing, but
Yeah.
Right.
but like a casual thing where I would get anxiety for, like, nobody really cares. Because
Right.
would I care? No. Why
Yeah.
would they care? And it's definitely helped a lot to kind of change my mindset thinking that way.
Everybody else is too afraid of being judged for doing something weird to judge you for doing something weird.
Yep.
Like,
Or they're
if
too
we're
busy doing
standing
something
out.
weird.
Yeah, or they're also being weird, right? Like, you're not gonna stand out.
True that.
You're not.
All right, speed question. If you were going to space, what magic card would you take?
Oh man.
Are we saying like I get some ability from the card, or just as a memento
Nope,
to be
no.
like, hey, check it out, I have a cool
Like,
card.
it's like your
card-
interview
wait.
or your call back to home. Like, you know what they did with the Artemis with all
Yeah,
the people and,
yeah.
like, answering questions? Like, you get to show off one magic card, be like, hey, this is my baby. And here it is in space with me floating around.
Watch me instantly put Tyem into the top 10 CEDH decks by plays. Watch me instantly show to the entire world Tyem, the Luminous Enigma, and be like, check it out, everybody. If you don't play Magic the Gathering, go do it. Play a format called Competitive Commander. It's the most fun you'll have, and this deck is the most fun you'll have in that.
There you go.
Oh man. Try to think of it. Think of something.
I would. What's the Edge of Eternity's one with the black hole? That'd be
So
awesome.
Thera,
Oh,
the Super
yeah.
Void.
Sothera, yeah, the super, like, expensive one.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
chase rare. Yeah.
It's in NASA's budget,
That'd
right?
be nice, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
NASA's the one that bought it, right? They made the card.
Right.
They bought it for us. I'm trying to think of
This
what would
is
be.
sponsored by NASA.
Oh, I wish, dude. That'd be such a sick sponsor.
That'd be a sick sponsor.
I don't think government agencies are allowed to sponsor.
I don't think they are either. They're allowed to get some kind of sponsor stuff adjacently, I think, but not actually. Like, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But
I tap Jeskai to play Buzz Aldrin.
Next universe is beyond the moon.
the moon.
Emrakul peeking out. Why are you guys here?
Maybe with the Star Trek set, we'll get a universes beyond that is space stuff.
Yeah,
I would love to have
true.
a Leica. That would be fantastic. Oh, speaking of that, I think what would be a lot of fun is bringing the Planeswalker dog from Unfinity,
Cosmo? I think it's
Cosmo
Comet.
to
no,
Maybe
it's
Comet?
Comet, Stellar Pup, or something.
Yeah, Comet, not Cosmo.
but
Cosmo's a fairy.
having that, bringing that along to pull back to Leica being one of the first living things that actually went into space and was in space alive for a while.
Oh,
That's a good point. That would be a good throwback.
It's a very sad story, but
Yeah,
You could do Space Blairin and then dress up like him.
that's
It's true.
incredible.
That is a great option too.
Now, my question for you, Zach, is I'm going to interrupt you here. How do you play Magic in space? How do you set up the cards? How do you set up the boards? How do you fight the low gravity?
I've got an answer for that.
A lot of magnets.
Hold on. You can use what is this thing called? Dragon Shield actually has a product for this.
Dragon Shield has a product for zero gravity Magic play?
Not exactly, but it would work. So Dragon Shield has their travel playmat folder thing. And it did not do very well, so I don't think they're still making it, because turns out people are not necessarily saying, hey, let me fold up my playmat and go on the play. But basically what it is it is a binder that has 3 rows of basically folder pockets. And you can slide the sleeves into those folder pockets and they hold them in place. And it was designed to be like, oh, I'm on a train, I'm on a ferry, I'm on something where I might need to pick up my stuff quick. So I can just put them in these and then I can fold it back up and take it with me. So you can take a couple of these for space. Yeah, you could take a couple of these to space and then you put your cards, slide them into those pockets. And then the only thing you got to worry about your deck, but you could just leave that in your deck box and put a rubber band to your wrist or something.
That's okay. That could work. That could work. Zach, what's your solution?
Yeah.
A lot of magnets.
Around all that sensitive electronic equipment? Come on.
What's that stuff really doing anyways? If it gets a little bit of a magnet, field, what's the worst that happens? You just like float away. Like at least you're with your buddies at the end of the day,
Oh my god.
With your buddies doing what you love. Playing some Magic the Gathering.
You can get some water and then put the Magic cards in the water and then it'll float around in a little bubble.
I don't want you to take my cards anymore for some reason.
You only brought Tayam, so it's okay. I'll get you another copy.
It's true. Tayam's not expensive.
No, Tayam is... it is interesting, though. I feel like the prices for Tayam sometimes fluctuate, though, and you can kind of tell when the Tayam players are active, because certain small cards will suddenly shoot up.
Rumblings.
Yep. It's pretty great.
All right, second out there question, not space related. If you had to have one of your body parts turn into a Magic cards, what body part would you choose?
What do you... Elaborate. I am so concerned.
Hair.
A piece of your body becomes Magic cards, and that's
the hair
it.
on the top of my head.
For the rest of your life, it's just Magic cards.
Does it regrow if I cut it off? Or the Magic
would be a good question.
Do I get money from? Are they legitimate cards, or are they considered proxies? Or
that's a good question. I don't know. I didn't make the question. I just thought about
it. You did.
I'm just gonna go straight.
I just work here.
Off the top of the
hair would be a good one. Is hair considered a body part? Or is it a body accessory?
No, it's a body part.
Part of my body.
So our body's growing it, right? Like it's not something we choose. Yeah. Most.
Although, depending on how it comes out, that could be very uncomfortable. So I might regret my choices later. But right now, we'll go with hair.
Do you become a fire hazard if you're part magic card?
I'm already a fire hazard.
Yeah, I
Humans
am.
lighting
Flammable.
fires.
It's fair.
Yeah, I already like fires, man. I'm a fire hazard in whatever building I walk into.
That's because you're so hot.
Hey. All right, well, for our first question of the day, we don't actually have a question. We have something interesting that Zack brought to our attention the other day. And we think it's kind of worth talking about a little bit because it's a interesting way to play commander or other sort of magic. However you want to do it. Why don't you explain it, Zach? You explain it.
There are 8 million game modes in Magic, and this is one of them. I was yesterday scrolling through the TikToks as one does. Barbecue sauce on my titties. You know, a casual Sunday afternoon, living life. All of a sudden, it's not the Alliance, but it's the Horde. I see a video explaining the Horde gameplay for Magic. And this is not a new game mode. It's, I think, kind of popularized back in Theros, if I believe so, where you had to fight against like a Hydra, a god, and I can't remember the last one. There's another one.
I think it was a horde and then a god.
It was a horde of Minotaurs,
Hydra,
and then it was
Minotaurs,
Hydras,
yeah,
and then it was the god, yes.
and then it was a god. So basically, most Horde game modes are more of a defensive cooperative game where you're kind of on the defensive against a horde of enemies coming to destroy you. And the main goal is to survive and defeat the horde. And so I have a vague memory of it, but like I saw the video and I thought this was a really cool concept and a fun way to kind of spice up Commander gameplay. And so I just wanted to kind of bring it up and kind of see what you guys, if you guys had heard of it, what you guys think of it. I can go over the general gameplay as well. But there's a website that kind of does everything for you. The Horde deck does not require anyone to actually like pilot it. It's pretty self-sufficient. And the app will do everything for you basically too. So just general first off, have you guys heard of this? Have you guys played it before? Have you guys enjoyed it? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah,
so
go ahead, Nate.
Go ahead.
Oh!
I said it first. Go ahead.
Okay.
The coin.
So I actually own a copy of the original Theros Hydra deck because
Can I
it
have
was
that?
the first one that came out, and I was like, this thing's sick. I like it, so I went ahead and bought it. It's hiding somewhere in my collection.
I would love to have that.
I think I pulled like 3 heads out of it so I could fit the sleeved cards in the box, but it is most of the deck still put together.
Yeah, I think Theros is when this kind of first popped up. I know it's a common thing with certain set releases that Wizards will put out different events with sort of alternate commander rules. Outlaws of Thunder Junction had some like bounties, not just the ones in the deck, but because they provided some in those precons. But they also had some like alternate rules for Commander Knights where you could play by this rule. They also had some for Lord of the Rings, and they've had these sort of mini rules. They're often very small things, like once per game you can make a food, or whenever you do a thing you get this reward, use only once per turn. Just really tiny effects that kind of change the game. And I think a lot of those started off, from what I understand, they had a lot of their roots in this Horde mode that Theros created. Now, back in the day, it wasn't super... Commander still wasn't the most popular. That was the year the 2013 intro decks came out, where we got commanders like Derevi and Prosh, and I believe we also
Guy in
got...
a chair.
Oh my gosh.
Oloro.
Yep, Oloro. Yeah, those were from this original... This is from 2013. This is Theros era. So Commander was still very new. Still not a lot of people played it. And they had this Horde mode that they sort of pitched as a way you could play with your friends with your 60-card decks.
Yeah. See if your deck could hold up against the Horde.
The Horde. So yeah, the Horde is pretty straightforward. Usually you're fighting against your opponents. But in this game mode, you are a team, kind of like two-headed giant, but 3-headed, 4-headed giant, depending on how many players you have. Basically, the goal is to just survive an onslaught of a creature deck. There's different kinds of kindred decks that you can choose to play against, or you can even create your own once you've played it a few times. A few of the regular base decks that they have is like zombies, slivers, Phyrexian, Eldrazi, goblins, I think, humans. Pretty typical kindred typings. And so the goal is basically everyone will take the turn together. Most of the time you can decide if you want to have a setup turns. Typically, I think the official rules say you should get 3 turns to set up your defenses before the horde starts. But it kind of depends on if you want to be a little bit harder or a little bit easier. And then each of the horde's turns, the top card of the library that they have is flipped. If it's a creature token, it keeps going until it hits a non-token creature. And all of those cards will go onto the field and be played. It's as if they were cast, so you can counterspell things, you can interact, and basically all of the creatures have haste, and they will attack everyone all at once. So everyone, you can declare blocks, however is best for the team. If any of the non-creature spells happen that like have a target, the way you decide that is to decide as a group what the best target for the horde to choose would be. So it is a little bit of a honesty policy in some ways, and then anytime there's a weird kind of interaction that doesn't quite feel like it fits the exact rules of Magic, just kind of use your own digression of like how you think it would work best or be in whatever team's favor that it needs to be. All of the creatures have haste, they attack no matter what, and then if you attack the horde, any damage that they take, if you decide you can have the horde have a set HP, typically like 20 points of damage or something like that. And then anytime after that, or if you don't have any set HP for them, they will just mill from the top of their deck for every damage point they take. And so basically the way you win, you defeat the horde when the deck runs out of cards and there's no horde on the field. That means you win as a team. And there's definitely different ways of increasing the amount of cards in the deck, increasing the amount of life that they have, or just ways to make it a little bit more difficult or easier depending on your deck. You can play this by yourself. You can play this with friends. It's just a nice way to kind of goldfish, but without goldfishing. You know, it's a way to kind of have a way of like, does my deck do the basic amount of things like to defend myself, to defeat another opponent, and be able to kind of keep up with a deck, quotation marks, that's not just me playing with myself.
Yeah.
Right. It's also a great palate cleanser type format where you had a real rough game of Commander, you're playing with your buddies, and you're like, hey guys, I think we
piss
can
off
do
at each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can have a more chill game as between this and our next one. Let's kill the horde.
And look, so the way to win is just quite simply just get rid of the deck, survive. There's no necessarily winning; it's just surviving, and I think that's super cool. So yeah, it's they have a website against the-horde.com. We'll link that in the show notes, but it is just that. It's a tool to try to play this horde mode, and you can use somebody's phone or a tablet to play against, and that way everybody can kind of see what's going on, they can see what's coming at them, and you can work together to defeat the horde in this co-op mode.
I just think it's cool that you have a opportunity to be a team versus like just typically Magic is against an opponent or against each other, and so having like a friendly kind of game that everyone can work together for kind of feels like a lot of the Commander principles of like a little less sweaty gameplay, but it's just kind of a cool way to kind of mix things up. They also have an app on every app store, major app store, that you can download as well. And then, as I said, if you have a bunch of bulk cards, you could make your own kindred decks and make them as like the horde deck itself as difficult or whatever cards you put in it, make them stronger or weaker, and try to kind of balance it out. But my biggest thing that I enjoy about this, or when I was thinking of it, is like all those very salty Commander decks that nobody ever wants to play with, you can now play with this because you're not against your opponents, like, oh, I hate playing against Krenko. Who likes playing against Krenko? But now Krenko's your teammate. So like, yes, please play Krenko. Make
Yeah,
a
Franco
absolutely.
MVP.
goblins. Do your thing. Do the thing you want to do that nobody will let you do.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna kick my ass if you do it.
Yeah, no, it's super cool.
Kali of the Past. Like, I don't want to play against Kali of the Past, but like, I mean, a free demon or angel. That's
Yeah.
pretty nice.
And I think it's so fun to take a look at this and be like, okay, so how hard can we make it on ourselves, right? Because they have decks like Eldrazi, and you can set your own team's starting life as low as 20, and then you can set the Horde deck double the size.
Yeah.
You can set the Horde to draw 3 cards per turn. You can multiply the tokens it creates. You can also have an alternate rule where the Horde does have the life, but when you lose life, it gains that much life.
Hmm.
So there's just
It's a nice little like difficulty levels that you can choose to do.
yeah, it's just a crazy amount of stuff that this deck can do. This tool has a lot of uses to it that really makes it really fun. And like we said, for just a casual commander night where you guys maybe are wanting to see how a deck performs and maybe see what power level it might be at, I think this is a good way to have you and your buddies test it against the Horde and say, well, if it can hold up to this level of the Horde, then it can probably hold up to a table pretty well.
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, I hadn't really heard about it before, and I thought this is a really cool game mode that I think would be fun to play with friends. So I was like, I would love to bring it up and talk about it a little bit. And so
Yeah, at some
Heck
point,
yeah.
when we play with Tristan, we could try this. I could just like screen share my web browser with this open, and then we can play on Tabletop Sim against the Horde.
Right. Or
That's true.
if we could get a deck list of the Horde, we could put it in Tabletop Sim.
that's true. Could definitely do that.
Yeah, I
It'd
think we
be
can.
it'd be manual, but it could work.
Yeah.
There are some
we can try it both ways.
silly rules that the Horde deck has. Obviously, they all have haste majority of the
Yep.
time, just because they are 100% just wanting to attack. That's what the Horde does. The Horde has infinite mana, so cards like Propaganda and Mana Leak won't work, just because I think that's a little too broken. Oh well, I played Propaganda. We can't lose anymore.
Right.
The Horde never uses activated abilities or permanents unless specifically stated by the deck that you chose. Probably a little bit of a difficulty level thing. If you return a permanent to the Horde's hand, so you bounce it, it gets cast again on their next turn. So it's just not permanent removal, it's just delayed removal. There are a lot of magic cards. If something doesn't work, just think of the most fair way to execute the card. If you can't, just cycle that card. It's not a competitive format. It's casual. It's for fun. Yeah. They always pay kicker costs. So any card that has a kicker cost, they'll get it. And then Planeswalkers are where it gets a little bit weird. What they have a limit. They'll only pay, I would assume, pay kicker cost once or any additional cost.
Gotcha.
So like if it's like a Culling the Weak, I assume that they would sacrifice a creature if they had one. Otherwise, they would just get whatever the effect is. I don't know. It's up to the players to decide, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Planeswalkers, if anyone has a Planeswalker, each time a creature controlled by the Horde isn't blocked, it will deal damage to the Planeswalker.
Oh,
Target the
interesting.
Planeswalker with the highest mana value first if survivors have multiple Planeswalkers. So yeah, it's just kind of like a make it work given the rules kind of thing. But it's just, I don't know. It seems like a really cool idea and a lot of fun. There are some cards where like Factor Fiction, if someone casts that and you have to have an opponent, it says that the Horde makes the choice as randomly as possible. So you just like roll a dice, I guess, in like a Factor Fiction scenario, and then the cards get chosen that way. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I thought it was really neat, and I haven't really seen much about it. And as someone who's pretty well versed in the Magic world, I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool way to play.
It's just neat to see somebody trying to keep alive that old Theros deck, basically, in that little format of the Horde battles. And Horde battle games are always really fun, right? Like games like Vampire Survivors, Risk of Rain 2, games where you're up against hordes and hordes of enemies are always really fun to try. So, what if we made a custom Horde deck that also gave, like, custom bonuses to your team?
That could be pretty cool.
And then just sort of turn it
Yeah.
into like,
If you had emblems for specifically hard to beat boss, quote unquote, characters in the Horde deck.
Ooh,
So if you beat them, you can emblem for your team.
Like you have like a legendary dragon or something that's like difficult to kill or something, like a big threat, and then when the team beats that, they get a reward of an emblem or something like that.
They get like all your guys have fire breathing, but you can pay a mana of any color for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Like I feel like there's so many potential ways you could go about this game mode, and it's just such a unique way of like cooperative Magic versus competitive, like one against each other. And so I don't know. It's just there's so much potential, and I'm like, it just seems like such a blast of a way to mix up Commander Night for people. And like, hey, you guys want to play Pandemic instead? Like, oh, just kidding, we're playing Magic, but as a team.
No, I think it's really cool. We'll have to test it out sometime.
Right. Actually reminded me of an event that one of the shops I play at is doing here in about a month. We're going to be doing a 2-headed giant commander tournament with a twist.
With
the
a
twist is
everybody needs a twist.
Everybody loves twists. The twist is that you are going to be playing a random deck. So you're going to bring a deck that you're fine with people playing throughout this event, and then you will randomly be assigned somebody else's deck to play, and you will be playing with a partner. Caveat is don't bring a deck that intentionally sucks or you're super worried about. Nothing. Yeah,
I'm going to bring 100 basic lands.
And then hopefully someone gets that, you know?
Yeah.
And then you'll be real sad when your partner ends up with that deck.
That would suck.
Hi, I'm Nicol Bolas. You might know me from my several attempts to conquer the multiverse and restore my pre-mending power. Well, after what felt like a millennia inside of the meditation realm, I've had a change of heart and decided that the only life that matters is the simple one. And that's why I invented Nicol Bolas's Bowl-less soups. Each soup packet has a delicious soup inside with a pre-packaged spoon to help drink these lovely concoctions. Nicol Bolas's Bowl-less soups come in a variety of flavors such as Alaran wild rice and tomato, almond Kedish lentil and fresh herbs, and Ravnican mystery stew. No matter what flavor you pick, I know you'll be satiated by what these soups bring to the table. If not, please contact your local manufacturer for a refund and complimentary Planeswalker token. Planeswalker tokens can be redeemed for several different prices at BolasCon. Collect enough tokens and you can even meet me, Nicol Bolas, creator of Nicol Bolas's Bowl-less soups.
Alright, well, we're still a Magic the Gathering advice show, and our first piece of advice can be boiled down to go try against the Horde. It looks super fun. But we've got more advice to give, and so for that, we are going to turn to a question from the r/EDH subreddit from username Lockenheda. Lockenheda? I don't know. It's weird, but it's fairly legible. I just don't know the exact pronunciation. It's fine. This user asks, Scoop to deny triggers ? Opinions. ? So they say, had a game recently where someone, in reaction to me taking them out with combat, scooped to deny me triggers. Was around 80 life gain going into a 1v1. Wasn't really assault scoop, at least it didn't give that vibe. They just argued that if I take them out, I have to expect they will do anything in their power to hurt my game as much as they can as a cost to taking them out. I was mildly salty, to be honest, and it felt really scummy in hindsight, but I didn't argue. They said it's a totally legal move, and yeah, I can. I know you can scoop anytime by the official rules, but really, dude? Didn't really give a crap in that moment because I was already at a stupid life total, but if these were important triggers, I don't know how I should react to that. I also don't know if this is normal in my LGS, which seems much more spike heavy and has a dedicated CEDH table, and most people play bracket 4. So I think the gist of what he's asking is,
Gotcha.
Is it okay to scoop in response to somebody attacking or doing something to deny them triggers that will benefit them in the game? The example he gives is he's swinging at his opponent, he's going to gain like 80 life off of this attack, and his opponent just quits. Because his opponent is gone, his creatures no longer do damage to anybody, and he doesn't gain any life. And that's a lot. That's 80 life is huge. Losing that much life is insane. But They're legally in the rules, you're allowed to scoop at any time. So what are your guys' thoughts? Is this, fair? Is it understandable? How would you treat it?
Now we gotta signify: are we talking about etiquette wise or
Rules
rules
wise, it's
wise? Because
very cut
rules
and
wise,
dry, right?
that guy's
You
totally
can
in the
concede the
fine.
game anytime. Yeah,
That's the rule.
Big
Agree
Magic
with
agrees
you.
with you here, buddy. You can concede at any time.
Yeah.
Etiquette wise, do you think this draws a line?
Yeah. So if I was in that game and I was the person that's in the 1v1 now, even looking down the barrel of the gun like, he's gonna kill me next turn, I'd be like, oh man, I guess you gain however much life you
Yeah.
would have had happen. I like to basically treat a person conceding the game as though the
Yes.
triggers would have happened anyway. So if you conceded because you didn't want somebody to get Yuriko triggers, well, sorry, dude. We're still getting Yuriko triggers because you conceded out of spite. And most of the time we're playing,
Yeah.
we are not playing for prizes. So I don't know why you're doing edge casing for a game that doesn't really
Yeah.
matter too much in the first place.
Zach, what are your thoughts?
I feel like with the rules of Magic 2, it kind of pushes for this as well. And like, not officially, it doesn't say like you should or not gain the life, but when a player dies, you do still go through the steps of phases in their turn, even if they stop existing. And so I would assume it'd be, in my mind at least, a similar situation, whereas even though they scooped, we're still moving through those phases where I would have dealt combat damage to you,
Yeah.
so I would have gained all that life. And I think that's only fair, especially for decks like Tivit or Najila or Derevi, those cards that really matter about dealing combat damage to a player. If my opponent like scoops and I have a Tivit and a Time Sieve out, like obviously I can't win anymore because I don't get my treasures in voting to get the 5 artifacts I need to take another turn. And so like if someone scoops, that just completely ruins my whole win.
Your whole
Right?
day.
Like it just ruins my little Sphinx life,
Well,
and so like
little.
I would Tivit's a big boy. All right, Tivit's a big boy.
He's a real big boy.
He's a hefty lad. But like I would assume, and it obviously would be up to the table, as I have personal benefit to gain from making those treasures or clues. But I would take it up to the table and say, is it safe to assume this would happen? And if they agree, absolutely. If not, I would respect that as a player and say, all good.
Yeah. Just
It's
like
a
you said,
casual game, it
it's
doesn't matter.
just a casual game, and in
Right.
the rules, that's how it played out is how it plays out. The other player immediately ceases to exist. Combat ends because there's no legal targets. He's not attacking anybody anymore, technically. All those triggers are gone. That's technically how it works in the rules. There's no way around that. But it's a casual game, and if we say we're going to ignore that, who's going to stop us? If the whole table agrees, and this is where it gets tricky, right? Because the whole table has to agree. The remaining table, I should say. The player who conceded gets no say in what happens next.
Right.
But if I am attacking, hoping to draw a bunch of cards from dealing combat damage to an opponent, that opponent leaves. The other two players, in my mind, are the ones who get to make the call. Do we let those triggers resolve regardless?
Absolutely.
Right? I have too much to benefit whether this goes off or not, so I should not be able to say I still want those triggers. Obviously I do, right? Yeah, I need to stay a neutral party and let those other two say, hey, do we think it's fair to give them that benefit? And I think it really, it's down to the table there. Because if the table says, you know what, he did concede, and him conceding gives me a slight edge now, so I'm going to say it plays as written and you don't get any triggers. And if that's what the table decides, you kind of just have to live with that. It's not fair it's not fair to push on them and be like, no, I really wanted those cards. I really needed those cards. I was going to do something cool with those cards. Like, just accept it, take the L, and next time you're playing with that player who tends to concede, when, you're about to get a bunch of advantage from them, use it against them, man. Have, like, a spare extra combat that you can just whip out and say, like, okay, well, now that you died for basically nothing, I can get another combat here and attack the rest of the players with everything, since you didn't
when
kill
they
anything.
get a big stack of triggers on the stack targeting you, where they're going to kill you for something like, I guess I concede.
Uno reverse card, baby.
Yep. It's like I can imagine, somebody steals a Stormkiln artist, so they're gonna make treasure when they cast and copy spells. They stole it from you, and then they cast a stolen grape shot from you in response to the storm trigger. You can just concede.
Yeah.
All those things cease to exist, and he gets nothing.
You get
Yeah.
nothing. You lose.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir. I do
Great
think
quote.
it's very much on your opponents or your two remaining opponents to decide that. But
Yes.
in a situation where stakes would matter, this would never happen. I mean,
No.
realistically. Yeah, if this was like
Yeah.
a competitive format and somebody conceded, they're just going to get dropped out of the tournament. Like, you're done. Like, you cannot concede at instant speed in a tournament. I mean, you can, absolutely. You just will not be in the tournament anymore.
Well, here's the thing, though, because here's the edge case where I can see, like, conceding at instant speed in a tournament might be the play if there is, like, a Tivit deck at the table, or a deck that's winning through Malcolm and Glinthorn Buccaneer that requires a specific number of players to win. If you know you're not going to be the one to win, and conceding increases the chances of a draw, then technically, strictly
Yeah.
by points numbers, it is optimal to concede to
Do you
attempt
get
to
a
point?
prevent that player to win.
Do you still get a point if you draw?
Yes, if
No.
you
If you
concede,
if you conceded,
I thought you did.
you get a point for the draw.
No. In
I'm like,
in
that doesn't
every tournament I have ever been in, there is a rule said that you can concede at sorcery speed only. So yeah,
See, and
instant
I
speed
haven't seen
conceding
that.
is not a thing. Oh,
I-
it's in every tournament that you have also participated in. It's in the rules.
I did not know
Just
that.
so that
Okay.
people can't do that.
Okay.
Or it would also make collusion a lot easier too.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
obviously not a good thing. Please don't do that.
Okay.
That can get
Well,
you
yeah.
in real big trouble with Wizards of the Coast.
But then
So
also
the
you'll
conceding
get
is open.
you'll also
If-
get a reputation of hey, this guy doesn't play the game the way they should, and nobody will want to play with you or trust you or believe anything you say.
Yeah. Hey everyone, Josh from the editing room here. So I did some digging, and Zack is completely correct here. It's not in like Magic rules, but in the topdeck.gg tournament rule addendums, they have a section MTRA 2.5. During a multiplayer game, players are encouraged to concede while they have priority and the stack is empty on their own turn. A player who needs to concede at any other time will be dropped from the event and must talk to a tournament organizer in order to re-enter. In this case, a judge will facilitate any mandatory actions of the conceded player until the stack is empty. In the event this happens in response to combat, the turn will be facilitated until the end of combat. So, basically what Zack said, if you concede from a game at instant speed, you will be dropped from the tournament. I don't believe they'll let you back in. I think you're just out of it. So if you're going to concede at instant speed, it better be for a good reason. There's a certain amount of social credit you have when you start playing Magic and you play with other people, where you can quickly use up a lot of it by pulling a lot of these bad faith moves, like breaking deals and conceding at instant speed and lying, right? You can quickly use up a lot of that, and people will remember you as the player who lies and concedes quickly to get random advantages and also is a big baby. But it does go the other way. If you're the player who's willing to say, you know what, that was kind of a dumb move from the other guy, you can still have those triggers. If you're the kind of player who said, yep, I'll keep to my deal, and that means you win the game. If you're the kind of player who is honest, you can really build up a lot of that good credit, and you can get to the point where, if you're a player that people like, then they're probably going to be more willing to give you those triggers that you would have missed.
It's also just advantageous to be a good player and a good person.
Yeah.
When people recognize that you are going to actually do what you say you're doing, they are more likely to want to make deals with you. They are more likely to want to work with you on stopping another player.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's nothing in the rules to say you can't lie in a game of Magic. If somebody does something, as long as it's not like actual revealed information, you can lie about a card in your hand and never show them.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be a good player, and people aren't going to want to trust you or make deals with you.
You
Be a
could
good
say
person.
you build some bonds
Yes,
over some mana.
You
exactly.
bonded with some mana for sure. Second thing I'd like to bring up from this question here: go to your game store staff and let them know about all the spikes in the store. That does not seem like a very safe environment for Magic. Spikes are a little bit dangerous. People can slip and fall on them. It
True.
might be a good idea to just give them a heads up that there's quite a bit of spikes. I know that's their store, but they might not be aware of it.
Yeah, that's
Nope.
that's a scary deal, man. You should really avoid that.
You want to be careful here in a couple months because if Hulk starts showing up, you're gonna have to be in a lot of trouble with all those spikes around.
Oh man, he's
Caltrops.
got so many
Infinite
combats.
combats.
Those caltrops are gonna get rough.
5 teams, 6 months, 48 matches, and it all comes down to this Friday as the 30-2 Lorehold Historians take on the 28-4 Silver Quill Silencers to determine the next Mage Tower Master. Will Aziz and her Lorehold Historians' unstoppable spirit offense break through the seemingly impenetrable ink wall that the Silver Quill Silencers look to build? Or will the wall hold? You won't want to miss this end-of-season championship, not only for the heart-racing and thrilling action, but also for the special halftime performance by Zappy and the Tempests. Get your tickets today by visiting www.magetowerchampionships.com. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
We'll move on to our last question for the day, and this comes once again from the r/EDH subreddit from user Mirrodin Appreciator. I believe this is one of our first subreddit repeats users. I think we've had this person on before.
All right, wait, real quick. Mirrodin or Phyrexia?
Mirrodin.
Mirrodin.
Oh, yeah, I want some Mirrodin.
I love Hive
Get that oil out of here.
I love Hive Minds. I love that kind of thing in concept. I don't like the idea of being like, and you're part of us now. You don't have a choice.
You're coming home with me.
I'm just the kind of guy who loves the paladin archetypes and the good versus evil, fights and stuff like that. So Mirrodin, obviously, for me.
Makes sense.
Anyway, so from Mirrodin Appreciator, they ask, what are the most satisfying game actions for you in Commander? They say, we all derive a lot of enjoyment from playing this game. Of course, the goal is to try to win, but winning happens a small portion of the time in a 4-player game. So we take great pleasure in other elements of the game, really making the journey the best part of this Magic experience. I wanted to ask you all what your favorite parts of playing Commander are. To provide a few examples to start, I love cascading. It's one of the great joys of playing Magic, possibly my single favorite. You spin the wheel of your own sweet deck. Coming in at a very close second, activating cheeky abilities at instant speed. The number 1 version of this is with Vidalcan Shackles, bonus points if I can flash it in, and number 2 is with Mother of Runes, and making people twist themselves in knots over how to deal with her. Finally, drawing cards. Duh. It just feels so good. Shieldred be darned, I'll lose the game if it means I get to see one more card. Anyhow, what are your favorite things to do in a game of Magic? Real quick before we begin, I do want to read Vidalcan Shackles to everyone.
Oh, I love Vidalcan Shackles.
So, Vidalcan Shackles is a 3-mana artifact. You may choose not to untap it during your untap step. You can pay 2 tap, gain control of target creature with power less than or equal to the number of islands you control for as long as Vidalcan Shackles remains tapped. Basically, just a quick instant speed way to gain control of a creature, and in a mono blue deck or maybe a 2-color blue deck, this could probably steal some very significant creatures. Mother of Runes, the other card mentioned, is a 1-mana creature that can tap to give target creature protection from a color of your choice until end of turn, and that protection puts in a lot of work. It can either make a creature unblockable, it can make a creature unkillable, Mother of Runes could even save itself.
I believe.
Nope, it can. Yep, she can save herself.
Yeah, target creature gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn.
Well, she's just a good mom.
She's great.
Just taking care of her kids,
Fun fact, the cheapest printing for Mother of Runes is $8.
Wow.
Do you buy your mom or do you buy a sandwich? The world may never know.
Mom is expensive.
So what do you guys love to do, and what triggers do you love to resolve when you're playing Magic? I think it's a little different for each of us, although there may be some overlap. But let's start with you, Zach. What is your favorite part in playing a game of Magic?
Honestly, it's got to be drawing cards. That thing's like crack
Okay.
cocaine. You just draw a card. You're like, ah, the possibilities are endless of this card. Like my whole deck is available to me. So drawing
Yep,
cards, 10 out of 10 experience. Always love doing that. Another one is whenever I play a card and the whole table says, "What the is that? What does that card even do? What is this
Yes.
card? Who made this?" And I'm like, "Wizards made it." And they're like, "What?" It's like the
call
best
it-
feeling.
I call it the occasion money changer reaction,
Yep.
That makes sense.
where people are like,
what?
the what now?
What'd you just play? Or like Old Man on the Sea? Like, is this guy like jumping on my back? Like, what's going on here?
What's he
Like,
doing?
what is happening? Or like exchange of words where it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna switch two deck boxes. Cool.
Why not?
Just those kind of like silly cards. I think those are always a ton of fun.
Yeah, I get that. I would say I am in the same boat as Mirrodin Appreciator here. I think cascading is super fun. I need to build a proper cascade deck. I don't know who I would want to put at the head of it, but I would love to build more cascade, play more cascade. I just think it's such a fun thing to do. I love the randomness element of it, of just seeing, well, I put a bunch of good stuff in here. Let's see what I get.
Wait, I have something about that too. I have something. One second. Another thing about that, the cascading, is when you're on Arena and you have like an emblem or whatever in those little weird game modes, and it's like you have Cascade on the first card you cast every turn, and you play a one mana spell, and your whole deck goes.
It's so satisfying.
That's so good. I love it. Continue on.
For those older folks, it's like playing old school solitaire on your Windows computer and winning the game and watching all the little cards bounce around. It's just like that. Ugh. No, I love cascading. I also love storm. I love storming off, of having like 5, 6, 7 spells that I can just keep chaining into each other with one great big payoff at the end to make a bunch of tokens or deal a bunch of damage. Or if I really hate the table, take a bunch more turns. You know, I'm sorry. I just love it. I love the feeling of being able to chain cards together into other cards. It's fantastic to me. I love it.
And on the flip side, mind break trapping someone's storm turn. Oh my god, yes.
That's a good feeling.
Feels so good.
Landing the perfect counter spell right when they're not ready for it and right when it's going to absolutely decimate them. Oh, it's so good, dude. Somebody says, I'm going to make 400 tokens. Okay. I cast Craterhoof Behemoth. Okay. Counterspell.
No.
What's even funnier is when you let the Craterhoof resolve and you stifle the ETB.
or when you like settle the wreckage or something. Just like, no.
Go ahead, attack, and they attack with everything, and you say Ink Shield.
Ink Shield. Oh yes.
Yeah, dude.
Good feeling. Nate, what about you, boss?
Oh man, for me,
what's your dopamine hit for Magic?
My dopamine hit is assembling the weird machine. I like building decks around weird machines, and when those start
machines,
when they start clicking, when they start assembling, when they start working, I'm like, oh, feels so good. I have officially won in my books. I might not have won in paper or in the rules of the game, but I have won here because the machine is assembled.
A, B, C, D, and they are all the alphabet right now.
Yeah, often it does lead to winning the game, but sometimes it doesn't, and that is okay. I want to get the cool thing off, which leads to a lot of the cascades and fun mechanics that you can get to interact fun ways. I really like decks that have fun things like Lear, specifically the first one, or Uncle Iroh, where you can play cards not the way that they're really intended to, but it works because the weird interactions with the rules, like with Uncle Iroh, specifically the 3-color one. I don't remember his full name off the top of my head.
Grand Lotus.
The Grand Lotus Iroh. If you have an adventure creature in your graveyard, you can cast the adventure card, and it goes, hey, wait a minute. Is that a legal thing that you can cast? And it checks and it goes, oh, that's an instant or sorcery. You're good. And it lets you cast it. And then it exiles as part of the adventure. And then the part of his ability that says exile it instead checks and says, oh, it's in exile. I'm good. And then you can cast the adventure creature later. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So Lear was the original one that did that. I got the textless version of Lear when that was a store championship card, and I built that deck, and it's so much fun to find those weird interactions and do those.
For sure. Talking about Iroh, I am excited for the new lesson cards in Secrets of Strixhaven.
Yes.
And I wonder how that interacts with Iroh, because they are lessons, so they can be 1 mana to cast. And then they also have Paradigm, which is a new mechanic, which is play off the epic mechanic. And then Paradigm just seems like one of those things that are going to can be very messy. Of like, the card's exiled, but there's things that matter, like if this card's in exile, do this or something. But like, I feel like there's some wonky interactions that I need to research a little bit more on.
Pull up a Paradigm card.
Yeah, I looked at
Paradigm a bit.
When they released
it's one of those mechanics that I feel like the rules are going to be like weird.
Yeah, they put out an article trying to explain how it works.
Is so crazy. Prepared breaks the rules of the game because when a creature becomes prepared, you put a copy of the spell in exile that you can cast later.
Yeah, normally spells in any other zone, like copied spells in any other zone, cease to exist once they've resolved or if nothing else is happening with them. Prepared holds a perpetual copy of that card in exile that you can cast.
Even if the creature loses the prepared ability, even if you turn them into a frog, they will still be able to cast that prepared spell.
Even though they have no ability?
Yeah.
What?
Because it was prepared already.
If they leave the field and like they die, do you still have is it still in the exile zone?
That's
you just can't cast it.
That's a good question. I'd have to read the rule timer thing for it.
Or like with Ketramos, the black-white Aether Drift guy who cares about cards going to exile, does that count as something going to exile for him?
I don't think so, because Ketramos cares about cards, right?
I think he specifically says cards.
Cares
something
about
like
cards
that.
leaving your graveyard or the battlefield. Cards leaving graveyards or battlefields. So Rest in Peace ends up being a kind of non-bow when you're using removal spells, but it works great for killing creatures because they get exiled from the battlefield effectively.
Yeah.
Prepared is so much wonkier than I thought it was. Like, it seemed pretty straightforward, but like it existing in the exile zone without existing in the exile zone seems crazy to me.
With those lessons, it looks like from reading how the
paradigm lessons, right?
The paradigm, how paradigm works.
Paradigm, right? Is that correct?
Yes. You're correct. I was looking at it, trying to read it, and my dyslexia is like, no, you ain't. So
that's a word that's on this card.
But from what it says in the rules on the card, because I'm looking at the black one.
Yeah.
So you cast a spell, and then paradigm happens after you cast it, and then you exile it after this first resolve. So if you Iroh'd, it would say, cool, I'm casting it, paradigm would trigger, exiling it, and then Iroh would say, hey, did you end up in exile? And go, cool. So it should work where you can paradigm spells with Iroh for 1
mana
graveyard. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's pretty good.
So new.
I do have a slight complaint with the.
That's gonna be a standard, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't
think it's gonna be a top tier standard deck, but it would be fun to try.
It would be a fun Friday Night
I'm
Magic
a little
standard.
upset with it because the red one, Improvisation Capstone, is such a great name for a 401, 455 level class in this Strixhaven curriculum. And I'm so mad that they didn't call them all capstones.
That's true.
Right? Like, I think that there's probably the terminology they use in the other ones, the symposiums, dissertations, practicums, seminars, are also high-level classes, which is fine.
Yeah.
But capstone just perfectly holds together that idea of this is it, this is the end of it, this is the top notch of what I've achieved and learned at this school,
Yeah.
I think they all should have been called capstones. But no, I think it would be really fun to put these in decks that love to copy things.
That's not going to work.
Does it not work the same way as Epic?
Cast for the paradigm.
You can. Sorry, it depends on where you're getting at it. I'll let you.
Because I'm just thinking, like,
explain yourself.
If I cast Improvisation Capstone and then Twin Flame it with a twinning staff and make like 5 copies of it,
the copy is not cast, and the paradigm specifically says when you cast this for the first time.
First
exile it.
Yeah.
Well, it says after you first resolve a spell with this name, you may cast a copy from exile.
First time you resolve the spell at all
with this name. Okay, so you can only do it once per paradigm.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. But
well, that's kind of lame. But you
could
can
use
always
all those
copy it.
spells for afterwards.
Yeah, because
Like,
You
when
can
twinning
you-
copy
staff.
the casting of the paradigm, right? The
Well, and
second, or
twinning
the-
staff would just happen every turn anyway, because improvisation capstone puts a copy on the stack, and twinning staff says if you're going to make a copy, make another one. So it just gives you another one every turn anyway.
let me read paradigm.
What's the blue one? What's the blue paradigm spell?
Really
Sorry,
lame.
that Josh.
It's the copy one, right?
It's the
Yeah.
copy one. Josh, that's not
Do that
gonna
with
work
twinning
either.
staff.
You can only copy creatures. Why doesn't it work, Nate?
Because twinning staff says whenever you copy whenever something becomes copied, you can get an extra copy.
If
These
I'm only
guys,
cast.
you cast the copy from exile without paying its mana cost. So you're not copying it
Okay.
on the stack, which would affect twinning staff, but it will be a thing where if you care about spells being cast with big mana values, spells being cast not from your hand decks, like I'm sitting here, I love the 13th Doctor as a magic card. I don't love them as a doctor because I feel like the writing for that season was not great, but I love that card.
That's a side story, but yeah.
Yeah, as a side story, I guess that's another one of the things I really like, kind of going back to our question, is the casting things not from my hand. That's another mechanic I absolutely love. Exile, graveyard, top of library, that's a lot of fun. It's like drawing cards without having to actually draw the cards.
Without drawing it. And like everybody sees it too, so you can kind of see what's coming. So it makes it more fun.
But yeah, so it works cool with decks that can copy it. Just there's a lot of rules with the set that is going to make me go, okay, I guess I'm reading the rules primer because, oh boy.
Question, do you have to paradigm your spell when you cast it? Is it a choice? I don't think you get a choice. I think you have to paradigm.
It gets
exiled. It has to happen.
Yeah, it gets exiled, but I'm pretty sure the casting afterwards is a choice.
Yes.
We're going to get back to
the copy of it on the first main phase that you cast is a choice, but the paradigm effect
you may cast. Correct. It is part of the resolution of the first time you cast the spell that it exiles itself. Sorry, that's not even true. Anytime you cast a paradigm spell, it's going to get exiled. That's just part of the thing. Because it's exiled a spell.
It has to, once it resolves or happens, then exile this spell. After you resolve. After you first resolve a spell with this name.
Yeah, after you do it, then you may do it afterwards. But I'm pretty sure paradigm will still trigger even if you cast a second one with it and just exile it.
Because there are cards that bring cards from exile back to play.
Right.
They're not common, but there's a few. So if you brought this back and did it again, as long as it's your first time on the turn casting this name spell, you should have 2 paradigms?
No.
Like, do you cast 2 of them? No?
After you first resolve a spell with this name.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it is a check of the game.
Are there any cards that change names on a card? It's not stickers.
I don't know. It feels like they've really
spells that I know of.
I'm trying to break this.
They've really made it very difficult to get extra paradigm triggers. But I mean, there's still plenty of ways to copy the cast spell, and
if you can copy
finagle with the other ways.
Copy spells on the stack, you're going to be able to still mess with it. I do like that they didn't make any of them broken. They made all of them pretty chill. Decent. Yeah.
They're all pretty straightforward for the colors. Yeah.
All
right, next question. Do you guys think Paradigm will make a return? I think so. I think it'll be in a future set.
I think we will occasionally get it in commander decks.
Maybe.
I can see commander cards,
We didn't even get any more epic spells, right? And epic was something that I feel like is going to be similar to this.
Epic was broken,
That's a different story, yeah. Epic sucked.
Okay, for the listeners who don't know, an original Kamigawa, in Saviors of Kamigawa, they made these spells that are called epic spells. There was one for every single color, and they worked similar to Paradigm, except for a whole lot worse. They all were like
lot worse.
9 mana sorceries that when you cast it, for the rest of the game, you cannot cast any more spells. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you can copy the spell. Yeah.
So you get to cast an epic spell every turn, and that's it.
That's it. The fun part about epic spells is, unlike these guys, you could cast an epic spell and then copy it on the stack. And if it was the original copy, you could get more epic triggers.
So you cast 2 of them. Kind of what I was trying to do with Paradigm.
What I really am realizing now is I do need a copy of the blue epic spell. Eternal Dominion, 7 colorless, or 7
Bribery.
generic mana and 3 blue. Search target opponent's library for an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land. Put that card into play under your control. Then that player shuffles his or her library. What I need to do is
Bribery.
I need to put this into Storm, Force of Nature, because that
That'd be
way I
hilarious.
can cast like 5, 6, 7, or 8 spells and then attack with Storm, get the Storm triggers, cast Eternal Dominion, go steal approximately 28,000 cards from my opponents, and continue to do that every single turn.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But like
Very
Epic,
ordering
it's
on
like
Card
not being
Kingdom
able to
now.
cast anything after Epic is such a downside, and Paradigm's kind of a fixed version of that.
Right.
Yeah,
Epic
it's-
spells were definitely stronger. That's
100%.
for sure.
Yeah.
But they
the
also cost a
downside
lot
of-
more.
Yeah. Also, the downside of not being able to cast anything for the rest of the game.
That's a
miserable.
huge downside.
You kind of got to build your deck around cheating things into play other ways with like
But even then, you're
with
not
the
casting
creatures.
anything.
Well, yeah, but if you have like Elvish Pipers in play, you can be like, I'm going to still
that's-
cheat in my
that's
big
true.
boys.
Yeah.
But
You can still activate abilities and activate
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
Play lands. You can play lands.
yeah, exactly.
Well, that was pretty. That was good. I really do think. What was it? The original question was what we love to do in Commander.
Yeah.
I would love to resolve 47 epic spells in a single game.
Yeah,
That's
that would
what
be
I would-
that'd be a dopamine hit and a half.
That
Stealing
is the
cards
kind
is
of
a
deck
big
that I
thing
love.
I love. Yeah.
I love doing crazy things like that. Like I had a deck for a while that was, hey, I'm gonna get a bunch of mana. I'm gonna cast an epic spell, and then I'm gonna copy it like 4 times before it resolves that initial time. I'm not gonna do anything else for the rest of the game, but hey, there we go.
But hey, that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal a card from you every single turn, but it's just one.
That's another thing. Chaos cards, like Ian Malcolm, the one where everyone like exiles a card and you can play from everyone else's pile without a mana of
Yes.
any color. Those are a lot of fun. Or Share the Spoils, notably.
Yep.
That
Yeah,
card's a ton of fun.
I like chaos cards to a level of like
A
5.
healthy chaos card. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't
You
want a
take it to
warp
11.
world or a goblin auction or whatever where everyone's permanents are put into a pile and auction
Scrambleverse.
off everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with Warp World. That's to just shuffle everything back in your deck, right?
Yeah, Warp World's not as bad as
No,
Scrambleverse.
I was thinking the auction card, Goblins
Oh, yeah,
Auctioneer,
yeah.
something like that, auction thing.
No,
But like everyone's permanents are getting auctioned off to everyone. Everyone takes
I
a turn
don't-
picking a
yeah.
card.
Possibility Storm's also one that I like. Let me
Mhm.
cast my little spell, and then boom, I get to do a big one.
That's true.
Great Aurora is one of my pet cards, especially in token decks. If you're not playing it in your token decks, you should be. That card is so much fun.
I do enjoy those little kind of mini game cards, like Sphinx Ambassador, where it's like whenever it deals combat damage to a player, search that player's library for a card. Then that player names a card. If you search for a creature card that isn't the named card, you may put it on the battlefield under your control. Then that player shuffles his or her library. It's like a little mini game. Like, hey, what'd I steal from you, dude?
Yeah, Zack, you've heard of the Celestial Toymaker, right?
Yes, the Secret
Yeah.
Lair. Yep.
Doctor Who guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I that sounds like a card that you would like because it's like, hey, you got mini games. You're gonna
Yep,
separate
you got
tiles
games on your
all day
phone.
long.
Right.
Or a Liar's Pendulum, a 1-mana artifact, 2 mana, tap it, name a card. Target opponent guesses whether there's a card in your hand. Card with that name is in your hand. You may reveal your hand. If you do and your opponent guesses wrong, draw a card. It's just like, what?
Those are fun. Those are a lot of fun.
Silly ones.
All right. Well, I think we'll move on here to the end step now, and we'll just chat and catch up. Not like we don't do that all the time anyway. But do you guys have anything sort of different from Magic that's exciting or that you want to chat about?
I mean, I guess I could talk about my some more random adventures.
You're talking more about possums?
No, not this time. Not this time. I went pseudo
R.I.P.
dumpster diving over the weekend.
Ooh.
You went what?
Pseudo dumpster diving.
Okay.
So when I went to play Magic on Friday night, the shop I play at on Fridays is next to a antique store, and they had put these 2 end tables out by the dumpster, and I'm like, okay, well, that usually means they're going to throw them away, but I just don't want to walk off with it. Right now, maybe, I don't know, maybe they put them out here for one reason or other and they're going to come grab them later. So it's like, if I come back in the end of F&M, which is like 3 hours later and they're still here, I'm going to take them. So
I know. Yeah.
yeah. So I now have 2 kind of grimy, kind of beat up end tables that are stylized after old school ice boxes. So they got
Oh,
cool
nice.
hinges and like lever things for opening them. And it's basically just going to be a little project that I'm going to work on to sand them down, clean them up, and restain them, and have some fun end tables.
That sounds
Hey, a
really cool.
free end table that you just got to fix up a little bit. We take
Right?
those.
Why not?
We
Why
take
not?
those.
Looked them up online. Now, these are really beat up, so nowhere near that good. Online, they're selling for like $200 a pop for.
Okay.
Woo,
So I'm like, hey,
sheesh.
all right.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
in the
did
condition
pretty
they are,
good.
I got like they'd probably be like $50, you know, and because they're
Yeah,
one of
pretty
those
easy.
pretty beat up and gross. But I was like, hey, I'll take these 2 free end tables that were gonna go to the dump, and if I decide I don't
not?
want them, I can just
They
throw
can
them in
go
the
back
burn
to the
pile.
dump.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
just burn them because we burn
That's fair.
sticks and
Yeah.
stuff, and these are basically just really fancy sticks.
I would
That is,
love to have a piece of property that I can just burn stuff on, you
It's
know?
pretty nice.
Have a little burn pit where it's like, I want to go start a fire. I'll be right back. Chuck some stuff in there, bring some marshmallows and some chocolate, have it or some
Yeah.
Starburst and have a good time, you know?
On our property, we have the house. Behind us, we have an orchard, and then we have a milk barn pretty much next to the house, and then we have a ditch that goes through basically the middle of the property. On the other side, we have what used to be a cow barn, where the cows were when it was a dairy 30 plus years ago now,
Sure.
when my dad was growing up. And then past that, we have a bunch of trees where it used to be some peach trees and stuff, but it basically just kind of became random trees. And so if we don't trim down the branches too much, it's kind of like going into the woods.
That's awesome.
So I kind of have the woods in my backyard, and we have a fire
So
pit, like a
jealous.
fireplace back there that my sister and brother-in-law made. And they did like 4 layers of bricks on the bottom because they're a little paranoid about fires and stuff. So like this way,
That's fair.
there's no
That's a
chance
good
they're
thing
going
to
to
be
catch the roof
paranoid
on fire.
about.
Yeah,
That is true. Yeah.
yeah. And so
No, I would
they
absolutely build a fire pit.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I haven't used it personally because I haven't had friends over to use it, but they like to have meetups with their friend group
I'm on
about
my
once a
way.
month and chit chat
I'm
and
on my
roast
way.
marshmallows.
Yeah.
Just hear slapping of feet hitting the floor as Josh
It was-
sprints the door. Just
It was a bit of a running joke with some of our friends, my wife and I's friends, that I joked about the male urge to just go cut a tree down and to just use
Yeah.
an axe. Which, like, y'all get it, right? I don't
Yeah.
need to explain it to you guys.
I get it.
Zach,
I don't get it.
You don't have the
I
mask.
don't, I don't have that urge. No.
down
well, you're not fully male, so I get it. But
Touche.
but like for
Your
those
Honor,
of us,
that is
for the rest of us, for the rest of us, there is just something about just holding an axe and splitting wood that just
Mhm.
feels good, man.
That's fair.
Getting that like that workout and feeling like, yes, I'm doing something, bringing the maul down on top of the wood. I don't know what it is, man. Anyway, my friends joked with me. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna get you an axe for your birthday. We're gonna get you an axe for your birthday." Last Christmas, they went out and they bought me a hatchet. It's not quite the same, but they're like, they bought me a hatchet and they said, "Yeah, and we pulled a dead tree into our backyard, so you can go chop it down now if you want."
Happy birthday.
I was like, "Yeah." So I still
That's
have
funny.
that hatchet with me. Someday when we go camping, hopefully this year, this summer, I'll be able to pull it out and use it a little bit, even if it's just for fun.
Feel that masculine
Yeah.
urge, you know.
Exactly, dude.
That's one of
Just
those
gotta
things I like
wreck
asking people is like, what animal realistically do you think you could beat in a death battle? Like, could I take on a hawk? I don't know. Maybe.
Ooh,
Like,
ooh.
could it beat me? Probably. Could I beat it?
hawk is hard
Probably.
because
Like,
of
no
flies.
weapons. Yeah, no weapons.
Yeah.
Just like bare hands.
What
Like,
if we
what's
limit it to mammals? What mammals do you think you could take in a fist fight?
like, it's life or death. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
how much
Oh.
is my adrenaline going to help me here?
Life or death is an entirely different category.
Yeah,
'cause
I think I
take
could
it-
take most dogs. I
Yeah.
think most dogs
Most
is a
dogs.
good limit.
That's
I
man's
think-
best friend there, sir.
Sure, but if it's attacking me, I'll do what you used to do in Call of Duty with Modern Warfare 3, the original one, with like 2012, 2013 era, when a dog used to chase you down and tackle you. There was a little prompt that came up, and if you're pet friendly, pause or skip ahead 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It would jump on top of you, and you'd get a prompt. You hit a button, and you grab the dog by top lip and bottom jaw and snap its neck. And look, man, life or death situation. You do what you got to do. Exactly. No, I think I could take most dogs, not all at once, but like a dog.
I don't think we would actually be able to do that maneuver in real life.
Yeah, like realistically, no way.
I can shove my fist down the dog's throat and suffocate it, or I can,
that way
grab
you'll
it.
You'll take a little bit of damage, but you could
around
do
the neck and strangle it. I can do that.
I feel like I could wrestle a dog, like well enough. Like I could like hold it down.
What about
but like a cougar? I don't think I can get a cougar. I don't think a cougar's got me.
Big cats, I think, will get me.
I think the only way
cats in general will get me.
Yeah, I think the only way I get those is if I do the let me shove my hand down your throat and make it so you choke out and hope I can survive till you die.
Once the animal gets too big for my arm and its throat, that's when I'm over. It's all gone.
I did kill a black bear doing that. He just basically shoved his arm down its throat and suffocated it to death.
Do you think you could beat a horse?
No.
I think a horse is messing me up. Yeah.
Now hear me out here. Horse has... I'm thinking of this like boss fight maneuvers. Horse has 2 attacks, okay? Kick and trample, okay? Where it's either going to try to run you down. Okay, sure, but they don't typically do that when they're fighting, right?
It's like a Pokemon. It has 4 moves to choose from.
Yeah, it's only got a couple moves. So here's what I need to do. I need to stay out of range of kick, sort of circle
horses are fast.
And if it goes for the trample move, I need to be able to get on top of it somehow. Now, I'm not physically capable.
What are you going to do on top of a horse?
If I'm on top of it and I can make that horse fall over, that horse is dead. Horses are so fragile, man. Horses are. I can break a horse's leg by making it fall over.
You are also quite fragile, sir.
Better than a horse.
Have you seen horses do the flop to get things off their back?
Yeah. See, like this. I don't think I could beat a horse, but Josh thinks he could.
That's their extra move. That's their thing.
That's what happens when they use their PP up.
What happens if we allow a short sword? How many animals do you think you can take with a short sword?
All right, that's a whole different question. Weapons.
If we have a short
that
sword,
changes everything.
Yeah.
Do you think you can take a gorilla with a short sword?
God, no. There's no way. I don't think a sword's doing anything against a gorilla. What about a magic deck?
maybe a spear. If I have a spear, I
don't think a spear's hard enough. I don't think it's strong enough to be able to do
I think it's enough to pierce it, and then you've got a really pissed off gorilla with the spear sticking out of it.
I just gotta hit it in the right spot.
Yeah, you gotta pray.
Don't miss. Don't miss.
you gotta pray it lands in the lungs or the heart, or you're so dead.
Anyway, it could also be a thing where if you get it in the right spot, and it's not quite the right spot, you shock it enough to get it to go away.
Gorillas are pretty chill most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make them territorial and they want to murder you from there. But
I feel like most monkeys are gonna mess me up every single time.
I don't think I could take any primates. I don't think I could take, man.
Nope.
You're telling me they're strong and can use tools? No, thank you.
Dude, I don't know if you guys have ever seen orangutans.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a video where a sumo wrestler was trying to do a tug of war with an orangutan, and the sumo wrestler's trying with all his might, and the orangutan's sitting there like
one hand probably just. What are you doing, dude?
Not even trying. He's just holding it, and he's not moving.
Yeah. No, animals would mess us up, man.
Yeah, for real. I like that question. Like a new person setting, be like, "Hey, check this out. Like, what animal do you think you could beat in a fight?" So that kind of makes you think. Like, what animal could I beat into a fight? Like,
what's the scale, right? Like, where does the scale? Do we start at the bottom with can you beat a mouse in a fight? Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah,
can you beat a rat in a fight? Yeah, and then you get up to can you beat a turtle in a fight? Can you beat a bird in a fight? And then you get a little bigger. I don't know if I could beat an eagle, man. The swooping attacks would probably get me. They'd swoop until
it could go either way, though. It could go either way.
if I manage to catch it and can hold on while it pecks me, maybe I can win.
Yeah.
But if it keeps swooping without me catching it, I'm out.
I might be able to kill it, but I'm probably gonna die after because
I'm gonna have some kind of blood loss.
Shreds. And then I'm going to die to blood loss because you're just clipped too many arteries and I'm just dying.
Yeah.
It's
So,
like if you're ever in a fight and someone pulls a knife, number one thing to do is just run away because nobody wins in a knife fight.
The guy with
Yeah.
the knife usually wins.
No.
What I've found.
Wow.
Any tussle with a knife, it's very surprising how many times people will get cut unintentionally and not even realize it. And it is very dangerous to fight against
and then
someone with a knife.
adrenaline
Unless you
wears off and
absolutely
you're just
have to.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you absolutely have to, fight back. Otherwise, running away is your number one best bet.
Once again,
Most
Zach's
safety
ruining
tips
my
from Zack.
weekend plans.
Yeah. Don't get into knife fights.
Gosh,
Most
dang
of the
it.
time, that's the best rule of thumb for a fight. Run away.
Don't get into a fight.
Yeah, don't get into it the first one.
Leave.
When we were talking about space earlier, and you said, "How do you
Mhm.
play Magic in space?" The dual disc, thank you, sir. Then the
man.
cards are right on your arm.
Perfect. All right.
And
Well,
when
after
somebody
all
asks
that,
to read the card, you just shoot across the
Holograms.
space station. Yeah.
after all that, I think it's time to call this episode to a close. We've had a lot of fun. We thank you all for listening today. We've got a couple shout outs we're going to do before we close up. First of all, we're going to repeat the announcement from last week. We are on YouTube now. So if you like listening to us, but you're not a fan of Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon
I hate
Podcasts,
Spotify.
whatever, yeah, you can go ahead and use YouTube now and listen to us there. Leave us a comment and let us know what you think of the episodes over there, as well as comments over there. We should be able to get to them and answer them if you have questions for us. If you have questions for us, they can go anywhere to us, usually at our email at manabonded@gmail.com. You can also send them to us through any sort of direct message on things like Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, any of those places. We will take your direct messages and we will take your questions from there.
Or my mailbox.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
drop it off at my mailbox if you'd like, and I will pick it up and read it.
If you do know where one of us lives, don't share it, please.
If you somehow manage to get to Zach's mailbox, you might be in trouble because, well, then you've gotten the pit and you might
Oh,
not make
true.
it out.
Yeah.
That's fair. That is fair.
You might get to live with Zach forever, so you know.
Friends
Oh, well.
forever.
Zach needs
If you
more
like-
friends down there.
I do. It's true. If you like music, guess who makes music? Senor Steve Brown. If you like Justin Bieber, if you like Chaperone, if you like Beyonce, you'll like Steve Brown. And you can find his music at stevebrownsongs.com.
Also, probably John Denver. I think he'd want me to throw that one out there.
Throw John Denver in there. If you like John Denver,
Yeah.
check out stevebrownsongs.com.
Woo! And if you like art, you can find art like ours that we have for
No,
our
wait. You gotta
social
be like,
media
you gotta be like, if you like Picasso, if you like Leonardo da Vinci, if you like the Banksy, if you like Banksy, check out.
Okay. All right.
Check
take
out
two, Nate.
Shadow Eclopex at the links in description.
Yeah, take two.
below.
Run it back.
Commission art.
Reverse.
It's
No, I'm
fine.
just letting you do it.
All
We'll
right.
just use yours.
Take
It's good.
one word, and then we'll all say a word, and it'll all mix together.
Oh no.
Make Josh learn hard editing skills.
I don't think I don't know if I could, man. Y'all are on the same audio track. It'd be a nightmare. Anyway,
All right, ready?
that'll do it for us. Thank you all so much for listening. Please, if you've enjoyed what you've listened to, leave us a review and a comment on the podcast app of your choice, and a couple that you don't even use. We really appreciate the engagement. We appreciate all you who listen every week, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for coming on our rants. And
Yay.
check out space. Check out space.
It's so cool.
It is.
So cool.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone, and
Stop.
welcome. What? Why would you
stop.
do that?
How could you do this to me?
How could you?
Why
do
would
this?
you interrupt me in the middle of it?
What do you mean? I didn't interrupt you. I said, "Here we go," and then I said, "Here you stop," and then
Oh
you
my
started.
All right, nobody talk. I'm doing the intro. Quiet.
Wait, I'm doing the intro.
No, you're not. It's my job. All right. Well, I put a bunch of good stuff in here. Let's see what I get.
Wait, I have something
oh.
about that too. I have something. One
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
One second. Hold on. Hold.
Anyway.
Hold. Okay.
Okay.